This whole religion is based upon three fundamental pillars: belief in Allah, belief in the prophets, and belief in Judgment Day. These are the three fundamentals of all fundamentals. And so inshallah ta'ala today we will begin our discussion about the reality of Qiyamah, and we'll discuss what we know about Qiyamah and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned of it from the beginning of Qiyamah, meaning the trumpet being blown, up until the very end. Belief in Qiyamah is not only a fundamental of our faith, it is a fundamental of the Abrahamic faiths. And it is something that marks the Abrahamic faiths from the non-Abrahamic faiths. Because all of the religions of the world are divided into two primary categories: the Abrahamic and then the Dharmic religions. These two put together form the bulk of religions of the world. Anything outside of these two is very incidental or small. The Abrahamic, we know, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And put together, these three faith traditions are more than half of the world's religions. The other major religions of the world are Hinduism and then of course Buddhism. These are the two big religions other than ours, and then to a smaller level Jainism. And then you have the Far Eastern religions, which Shintoism and whatnot. These are called the Dharmic religions. And the Dharmic religions share some things in common, like the Abrahamic religion share some things in common. Of the fundamentals of all Abrahamic religions is belief in the God of Abraham, and belief in the concept of prophets, and belief in Judgment Day. These three are shared by all Abrahamic faith traditions. The Dharmic religions don't believe in any of these things. And the concept of Judgment Day does not exist amongst all of them. What is the equivalent in all Dharmic religions? Who could tell me? Very good. Reincarnation. Right? Or the concept of liberation of the soul from the body. So the goal of those faiths, we're not going to talk about that, don't worry, this is one of our first tangents of today. The goal of those religions is to break free from the cycle of reincarnation, nirvana or moksha or something. But the point is, by the way, they don't believe in a day of judgment. But do those faiths believe in some type of judgment? Yes. Because that's the whole point of karma. That's the whole point of reincarnation. Even those faith traditions have some kernel of judgment. But it's not one judgment day. It is every soul shall have its own judgment, and then the resurrection of the next will be based upon what it has done. So the point being, at some level, judgment is universal to all faith traditions of this world. Except that the Abrahamic faiths believe in one day. That is the day of Hisab, the day of resurrection, the day of Qiyamah, Yawm ad-Din. And the other faith traditions, they have their other interpretations. And by the way, I say the Abrahamic faith traditions and all major sects of Christianity and all mainstream groups of Islam, as I mentioned in the very last episode of the Barzakh, all of them believe in an akhirah. Interestingly enough, for reasons beyond the scope of our class, the Jewish faith tradition has veered from this belief. Once upon a time, classical Judaism, early Judaism, did believe in Qiyamah. And Allah references this in the Quran. وَقَالُوا لَن تَمَسَّنَا النَّارُ إِلَّا أَيَّامًا مَعْدُودَاتٍ. They did believe in heaven and hell. However, over the course of the evolution of Jewish theology, slowly but surely this concept was not fully discarded, but it is no longer central to the belief of most modern Jews. Some still believe in it, and many have abandoned it, and most of them are agnostic about it. They don't know what even the religious, even the practicing amongst them, this has something that is now by and large not mainstream amongst them, which is very interesting. They have abandoned this belief. Nonetheless, that's the introduction. I find it very interesting that all civilizations in the globe and all the major faiths without exception, they believed in the concept of the human soul. The ancient Chinese, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Christians, the Sikhs, the Muslims, the Abrahamic religions, even the Greek philosophers, Plato and Socrates, and they're not even connected to a wahi. They have this concept of a ruh. The ruh is something that, pun intended, permeates through all of human civilization. All civilizations affirmed that the soul exists, except for some modern pseudo-scientific people who deny everything they cannot understand, and so they say there's no such thing as the ruh because science cannot prove it. Forget them. Everybody in human civilization believed there's something called a soul and there's something called a body.